Okay, theoretically, I am live, we think. So, hey, it's me, Lauren, the filmmaker extraordinaire, and I did not have time to film anything for today, so I'm going live. 2 lives in a row. Who is she? But I think it also is kind of like fitting for the topic of the video that I want to talk about, which is this pressure of, as I said in the title, always being on the go, always doing, capturing everything you're doing, and just focus on kind of an extremely active lifestyle. And I don't necessarily mean physically active in a like gym sense or exercising, working out, whatever you want to use, but in a constant state of motion kind of lifestyle. And I personally do struggle with doing nothing. I'm definitely a go getter type person. Oh my God, hello, you made it for a live. That's exciting. Thanks for watching. Um, yeah, hi. So I am a go getter type of a person, right? Like I like to do things, but that can lead to being really exhausted all the time. And I need to get better at resting, being at rest, being in a state of calm. Because when you're like kind of always going like, then you don't really realize things you need to like take care of in your life, which include you. Now, I'm not just talking about like errands, I'm talking about you yourself, like, or me in this case. Whenever you get notifications, I come back. Oh, thanks. How's my health now? Well, I think I'm doing pretty good health wise. Um, I had like that medication time switch, which I think I talked about. Well, if I didn't, I just did. And that has been amazing for me. Like that has really been ramping up, revolutionizing my day to day. I like no longer need to take like a sleeping pill every night because like I'm just tired and I can just sleep naturally without it based off like I mean naturally. My medication helps make me drowsy, but it's like an extra pill I don't need, which is really good. And I think I'm eating pretty well. My only thing is I need to like make sure I'm getting like my daily like steps in because I feel like I either go from like a day where I walk the dog at the office around the block a few times, but then I'm like sitting around or I'm like at the zoo literally getting like a million steps and being pretty active physically. So I need to just like get a more stable thing because I know it's important for me to like be doing stuff. Oh, you guys have to see me. I am confident that you have plenty of friends. Although I'm very happy that, I can bring some joy into your life when I film or go live. That's kind of like one of the reasons that I like to make videos, because it brings me happy, but I hope it also makes other people happy. But I'm sure you have other friends in your life. And if not, then you will make some. It's really honestly like not the easiest thing to make friends. I guess as someone who just moved to a new location, it's kind of a struggle to meet people. But it's just a thing you got to do your best. And it kind of just stinks at first when you don't know anybody, but I have faith that you will meet people. Too much so off in society now. Um, I think you're meaning that, oh, so many show offs in society. Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of performative types of people out there, and that can be pretty difficult because, um, yeah, they want to like flex this and that, and they want to do things and be like, look what I can do versus like actually getting to know people, which is definitely tough. But I'm sure there are people out there who are maybe more down to earth or just don't care about that kind of thing so much. And it just might be a little difficult to find them, but I am confident that they exist. But this actually like ties really well into one topic I did want to bring up because I don't exactly remember what I was saying before this, is that this past week, approximate week, okay, I have been super busy, okay? Like, I went on a couple dates, I went out with a friend, I hung out with another friend, I literally, like, had 2 friend hangouts, went on some, yeah, as I said, like, 2 dates, and I was just, like, so busy, so busy. Um And then, of course, there was actual work, and I worked overtime one day, and I was just, like, going off, like, I was on the go, right? Like, room, like, Lauren's busy, and it was exciting, like, it felt fun to be going out and doing stuff, and sometimes I would take, like, little pictures or, like, little videos for, like, my memory moments and for, like, my daily thing that I've been doing for the past week. Also, is, like, my little capturing of my day, but I wasn't trying to be, like, on my phone or, like, making explicit content out of any of it. I was just trying to, like, live it and be in the present, which is something I'm working on, and it felt very exciting. I was busy. I felt like I was living the life, right? Like, you're living I feel like there's this idea that when you're young, you gotta be living it up, and I felt like I was sort of living it up for this past week. And then it came to this weekend, right? And I had 0 plans for the weekend. Oh my god, I forgot. I also was had a scheduled video chat hangout for my friend with one of my friends, which I do have for this weekend as well. And there's church. But I like last weekend I was like really busy. I had planned events. This weekend it's like nothing. And which is pretty good honestly because the apartment needs cleaning. I need to film stuff. I need to work on this other side project. I need to like do some errands. I need to take care of myself. Um, but it's kind of hard because it suddenly feels like you're doing all this and then you're not. And I can see that you say in the chat that you didn't enjoy a lot, like go out because you were a bookworm. And I'm doing like going out and doing stuff. And I think there is something to that. Like I am an extroverted person. I'm not trying to claim I know who you are based off your chat, but I think like I was also like I mean I like books. I was more of a bookworm I'd say when I was a little younger. Now I read when I have like more time, but I used to like read all the time. But I was still always doing things because I like couldn't sit still and there was this pressure that I felt to always be doing stuff. And it was like my pressure, it was pressure from my peers, not really from my parents. My parents were like, "You're a great student and good kid. Like do your thing." But I felt like I needed to be run like on the go. And it was almost like when some people would be doing stuff that I wasn't doing, it was like, am I missing out? Am I doing something wrong? And not even like FOMO, like not I was afraid that I was missing out on like some event that I didn't really want to go to. Like when a bunch of my friends in high school would like go drink somewhere and I was not part of that scene, I wasn't afraid that I was missing out on the actual drinking element party. I was afraid that I was just like should be doing something else with my time because if there's this idea, especially like with capitalism, that you got to be like productive to be worthy of like being alive, which is so wrong. Like so bad because that is not true at all. But there's this idea, I think, that you just got to be always doing stuff. And it's like it has to be valid stuff. Like this weekend, as I said, like I have no strict plans, but I do need to like get groceries, get gas, clean my apartment, work on a little project. I had to shoot some content. And these are actual legitimate things. And that's aside from like showering, eating, sleeping, like human basic functioning. But to me, and my like socialized brain here, that doesn't sound to me like I'm actually doing anything because it's not a strict plan that involves not even necessarily always another person, but going like out into the world, even though going to get groceries is going out into the world. But it just seems like it's so menial, it's so mundane that it's not worth the same kind of attention, the same kind of public approval. And that is so annoying. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Peer pressure exists in the US. Peer pressure definitely exists in the US. And I think peer pressure is also part of this like capitalist the capitalism idea, because there is this pressure from others to always be hustling, working. There's like, it's a little less so now, I think, sometimes, but the whole like girl bossification of everything, like you need to always be working on your business or kind of taking your hobbies and making money off of them, which the only hobby that I sometimes do make some money off of is like my social media hobby. But like I also scrapbook and play the violin and do like other stuff. And I'm so happy that I don't try to make money off of those things, because those are just for me. They're just for fun. And this is for fun, but it also, like, I spend a lot of time on it. And sometimes I get a benefit, which is a nice perk, but it's not something that I chase, because this like idea of chasing um, monetary value or any kind of acclaim from the public is exhausting. And it, I think, really takes away the point of a lot of initial, like, why people start doing things. Before, I had a different image of US kids in my mind due to movies I watched. Yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot in, like, the media about just, like, a big there's either, like, a big party atmosphere, or there is, like romance teen movies. People are always they're doing, like, fun things all the time, or they have the worst life ever. And I think there is a real balance, but there is still this pressure, I think, that we get from the media to be going out to parties, to be have, like, a whole host of friends, to, like, somehow never be doing homework or rarely do homework or study, like, only if it's convenient for the plot. And that is just not the case, right? Like, there's a lot of sadness and hard days that go on, but we are not encouraged to show that. And if you do show more raw emotions, more sadness, then you know what you get? You get kind of told that you're being performative, that it's not genuine feelings. You're not being necessarily an authentic person, because you're putting on a show for other people to show maybe your grief, you're upset. Like, crying on camera is kind of laughed at and, like, demeaned, because you're like projecting something. And people say that if you were really a genuinely upset, like, you wouldn't be filming right now, like, you would just be crying. And there are times when I have shared, like, moments where I'm feeling very emotional, because I feel the need to, like, share it somehow, connect with somebody, and sometimes there's no one around. The only one around is my camera, or is like a live stream. And there are other times when I just want to hide in a little ball and cry. And I think both of those should be acknowledged as valid ways to express emotion. And it's very upsetting that one way is looked down upon so much, because that increases this projection and representation of, like, happy, busy lives. We thought everyone enjoyed their life in the US. I mean, I think a lot of people really don't like their life in general across the world, but there are a lot of problems with America, and one of them is, of course, I mean, there's a million problems. There's our judicial incarceration system. There's just systemic racism, white supremacy being everywhere, and all these problems there. There's the whole drama saga with Roe v. Wade being overturned. That's like a recent problem. We have climate issues, food insecurity, and it's just, there are so many issues. And instead of being told to focus on our issues, we are encouraged to stay positive and just, look on the bright side of life. And I think you definitely need to stay positive for a lot of things. I think it doesn't help. You're not going to save the world by any means by sitting down and just feeling emotions. But you should be allowed to feel those emotions, and you should be encouraged to be in tune with yourself. If you need to, take time for yourself, recuperate, understand where you're at, and then you can come forward, try to gain some momentum, passion out of those feelings, to help become active in a cause that you care about, that cause that you support. Because if you don't really care, if you don't have any feelings behind those causes, you're going to give up, basically. Like, you're not going to continue pushing for any kind of radical change. At the end of the day, it doesn't really, you don't really feel it. You don't feel connected to it. And I don't mean that you have to be personally affected by this. You can become connected to it by learning, by reading books, watching documentaries, talking to people, interviewing people, listening to podcasts, interacting with people in your community. Like, I don't have to be to go back with like something that could affect me, like Roe v. Wade. I don't have to personally be like seeking an abortion right now to know or to care about the fact that that's something important to me, like women's health care and our reproductive control and rights. Like, I can still care about that, even though right now it's not affecting my life directly. Um, Next time, chat with me. We both cry together when you're low. Well, that's considerate of you. I do enjoy crying with company. Exploring the US with you is an amazing experience for me. Please be forever on YouTube. I will definitely be on YouTube for, I mean, as long as YouTube's around for the foreseeable future. Like, I don't see why I would stop, because it's important to me to share my thoughts and try to connect with other people, especially in this era where we're so encouraged to be, I don't know, there's just this dream life that people are capturing. And people, like younger people, are trying to kind of change that up. Like, if you look to think about like photo dumps or what's kind of trending on Instagram, some pictures are more like blurry aesthetics, but you're still like doing things in these blurry pictures. Like, I'm not seeing people posting carousels or photo dumps of them sitting in their room for 10 pictures in a row. Like, it's still going out, eating food, hanging with your friends. So it might be a less polished version of this going out experience, but it's still it's still that idea of like, look at what I've been up to, and now like give me validation for that by liking my photo. And I fall prey to this too. I go on Instagram. I like getting likes on my pictures. I am not saying that that's a bad thing, or demonizing it in any way, but I do think that it is a real concern when the whole life is lived for the capturing of it. And I definitely was like more into that like a few years ago, where I felt like I had to get pictures of everything and like share them. Like, I still get pictures of like a lot of stuff, but I don't share them as much. Like, a lot of more pictures and videos I actually keep to myself that no one else ever sees. And that to me has made them a lot more special, because they're for me. And then if I want to pull them and share with a friend, I can be like, oh my God, look at this thing that I sent to you directly, not to the whole world to see, but to you personally, because I think it will mean something to you and it means something to me. If that makes sense. True rawness is beauty. I think that beauty can be a lot of things. I do think that being like raw and vulnerable can be beautiful, but I also think like a polished, um, like if we're thinking about like a basic example here, what could be like wearing makeup or not wearing makeup. I'm not wearing makeup now, but I do often wear makeup for videos. Well, depends how I'm feeling, but I love wearing makeup. I feel very confident when I put on makeup. I feel extra special and I feel beautiful. Now, I feel beautiful now as well. I don't know if I feel extra special right now. But beauty is in both of these things, makeup and no makeup. And beauty is also in the eye of the beholder. Like, maybe someone watching doesn't think I'm beautiful, but to me, I am beautiful. So I don't really care what you think, if I'm beautiful or not. But, that's like your prerogative basically. But I do think we should be more vulnerable on social media and in the public eye to an extent, and to whatever you're comfortable with. I don't think we should be forcing people to share their darkest moments online. And some people are forced to do that to get like mutual aid, basically. Like, if you're suffering, people have to explain their life circumstances to a point that could be traumatic for them to be recounting. It's not always cathartic to kind of recount your life story. Sometimes it's very painful. But we have this idea that you have to prove like why you deserve help, which kind of circles back to something I talked about much earlier. And these are all bad things. Like, we should just be able to help people. And I understand that there's a system in place that some people might take advantage of, just trying to help others, which is very which is just despicable, honestly. It's terrible, the idea that you could just be taking advantage of a system that really isn't even helping those who needs it to the point where it should be. First time when you said a moral life, I was shocked from a US girl. Well, I do think people have different morals. I do consider myself to have a pretty strict moral code, but That's partially because of my Catholic upbringing and also just because of my parents. Have you some close friends? I never watch any videos with them. I do have some close friends. I don't film a ton of videos. Like maybe if I'm traveling with like my family, they'll be in my videos. There's a couple videos with one of my best friends who sometimes makes an appearance in the chat. Not right now, but sometimes she shows up. And I have a couple videos with her, but I tend to not film a lot with other people because when I'm out and about with people, unless they're like in my family and pretty comfortable with me and a camera, I like to just be hanging out with them, experiencing time with them, like my friend that I'm spending the time with. And I mean, if they were to say, "Oh my God, please film this, please vlog this," I'd be like, "Yeah, sure. If that's something you're comfortable with and we can have fun with it and both kind of interact with the camera, we can absolutely do that." But I don't just like I wouldn't never try to impose the camera on them because that's not who that they signed up for. They didn't say, "Hey, I wanna be, like, filming with you." They said they wanna spend time with me. She's your sister. So well, I do have my sister, Nicole, who sometimes will appear in the chat. But my other friend, who I'm not gonna name, even though I've named her in other videos, but I just whatever, right now, I'm not naming her. Does not have my surname. We are not related. But Nicole, my twin, does also sometimes appear in my videos and appear in the chat. Sometimes she watches my videos just muted though, apparently. So if she's listening to this video right now, she's not actually listening to it because it's muted. Um, Similar, so oh yeah, I just said that. And cute doggy. Yes, we do love my dog, Cal, even though he's my family dog and he's in New Jersey, and I miss him very much. But he does make appearances because my family still sends me lots of pictures of him, and I have tons of pictures and videos of him from all the time I spent with him. Cal, his name. Yeah, his name is technically Kaladin from the Stormlight Archives, but we call him Cal for short. I don't think he actually knows his full name, Kaladin, but he does know the Cal part of his name. So that's good. And I'm going to get a sip of water real quick. I feel like I kind of talked about everything that I wanted to talk about in this video, plus some more because of the chat. I always appreciate when people say something in the chat. I don't care if it gets me a little off topic or derailed. I like growing a little community with you guys. So I think I will probably be wrapping this up unless I'll wait like another minute in case there's another comment or anything going on. But otherwise, I will be heading out. And there is a comment. I was in a fever 3D. Oh gosh. Well, I'm very happy that you're no longer feeling feverish. I'm happy that you're doing better. That's really scary, feeling low. I mean, I think when you're sick, it's very easy to feel really low and depressed because there's always, at least for me, I always have like a fear of I always have a fear of like not ever getting better for some reason. Like I'm not sure why that is, but there's like I'm just like, oh my God, I am afraid I'm never gonna be healthy again. I'll never be able to accomplish what I want to do. My dreams will not come true. It gets very dramatic very quickly. And I think that goes back in part to what I was saying about how we have this pressure to always be doing something, to be accomplishing something in order to be like valid and worthy of life. Which, as I said before, and it's again, is the wrong assumption. You don't have to do anything to be worthy of life. Depression was part of my life since 3 years. Yeah, my mental health had really taken a turn for the worse, like in college, and then it got a little better. And then last year it was kind of like a rock bottom point for me. But, I was in therapy, seeing a psychiatrist. I did that IOP program, and my mental health is still not perfect, but I'm definitely at like the best point that I've ever been in my life, which I am really grateful for. But it's hard. It's a hard path, and we're kind of told that mental health is still often like there's still a big stigma around it, looked down upon, and if people make bad decisions or there's like a bad person, sometimes they're like try to blame the mental illness, and there are people within mental illness, for example, like BPD or bipolar, where people will be like, oh, it's because of that. And then there's this idea, the assumption that everyone with that mental illness or diagnosis is like a bad person or will do bad things. And that is not true. That is not the case. And it can be very upsetting. So it's definitely something that I think we all need to like work on as a society. And ever gone through heartbreak? I've definitely gone through heartbreak. I have, been in two relatively long relationships for like the course of my life. And both of them did not end great. Although one of them I'm still like friendly. I guess I'm like amiable with both people. Um, and that was tough, definitely for me. And, I've now been single for a little over a year, which has been the longest like I've ever been single since I really started dating people. But I've been just focusing on me. So, and it's been good. I'm happy. I'm living life. I mean, I'm not always happy, but overall I'm a content, happy person, which I didn't really used to be. Do you still feel you still I'm still friends with one of them. Like we'll like sometimes share memes or something, but we don't really talk that much anymore. Which is sad. It's the kind of thing where you used to talk to someone all the time, right? And then you no longer really talk to them at all. Just like that Katy Perry song, Small Talk. Um, yeah. All right. Well, I have to get onto those errands and things, but it was lovely interacting with you guys in the chat. And I hope you found this semi thought provoking if you watched it. All right. Bye. And I just said bye, but yeah, it's super weird when that happens. Super, super weird. It's very tough to end relationship with you. Yeah. I mean, life is weird. Relationships come and go. And if you've ever heard that spoken word poem by Sarah and Phil Kay, like when love arrives at the end, they say, um, like, I think it's something along the lines of like, leave the door open. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, that's what I try to do. People come in and out of your life, and some people stay in your life. And that's amazing. And some people are only meant to be in your life for a small period of time. But that's okay. And now I really do got to go because I am tired. Even though I took a nap already today, but I took a nap. Gotta do those errands and just try to recuperate myself and realize that I don't need to be on the go to be worthy of anything. I will see you all again on Wednesday.